Hello, Bela here. And Skitty would be here too, but it's 2:30 now in the morning, and it's catnap time. It's one tired Skitty. So today, this morning, we're going to be talking about a versus battle. We're going to have Game of Thrones versus Babylon 5. Let's get this done. So we'll kick off with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was an epic, amazing series. It did a lot of things really well. First off, let's talk about the acting. The actors were phenomenal. It was probably one of the best casts ever made that I can think of. Like the people who played, the Jamie, Tywin, Tyrion, Littlefinger. These actors were phenomenal, and the characters were even better. Like they just made you love people you probably should have hated, like Jamie. The whole incest thing, shoving Bran outside of a window thing. Those little accidents. And that it was just so well done. They really they really also made the villains fantastic. Their villains in the show were just phenomenal. Like the Bastard of Bolton, he did some really evil things, but he was just such a great villain at it. Littlefinger, also great. Joffrey, everyone hates him in real life and in the show. He gets the best of both worlds. Yeah, and that was really good. But let's kick into the story a bit. The story was for the first four seasons. The story was fantastic. It did great epic battles. It did nice little story arcs. It did things that you'll never ever forget. You ask anyone about the Red Wedding, and they can tell you straight away exactly what it's about. Robb Stark making a wrong choice and wanting to marry the wrong woman, and the phrase took care of the rest. You know, things like that. People know the epic battle at Blackwater. It was just so well done. Um, yeah, so it did stories like that phenomenally, and they did okay with some of the story arc type things. Like they had the Arya thing where she saw what happened at the Red Wedding, and you got to see her get her revenge mostly the way through the show, and at the end she got the phrase, and that was I felt fulfilled by that. That was good. She needed at least to do that. I really was expecting Cersei, but you know. Um, so yeah, I just think for the first four seasons they gave us an amazing show. What other things they do well? I felt like they did things like Hodor, hold the door. That was really clever, and I thought it was also really cool. Um, other things like that were really good. I think where it went down a bit was that it kind of lost its momentum in the last two seasons. People were teleporting all over Westeros in record times, and that kind of took you out a little bit. Um, Also, they didn't answer questions, which you really want to know how it ends with like Azor Ahai, like the whole Stannis epic storyline kind of went nowhere because we don't really know who Azor Ahai was. Is it Jon Snow? I don't think it could have been. Is it Daenerys? Where was the flaming sword? Things like that. Just things that you're like things that you want to know because you want to know how it ends. And Jon Snow, he's epic. Oh my God, he's the thing that everyone guessed was his background, how he was a Targaryen, and even though most people knew that, they wanted fulfillment. They wanted to know what that meant, and they kind of meant nothing. Not really. They just banished him. Things like that. It was like cool setup all the way through, and just nothing. Just not enough closure at the end. And I think that might have been a reason why it just didn't. It wasn't probably its mark dropped dramatically just based off that, to be quite honest. Yeah. So let's go to Babylon 5. Babylon 5, another great show. Um, the characters were great. It also had really cool villains in Morden, Besta. Uh, the shadows were amazing and scary. Um, yeah, and when the Vorlons went angry, they also were scary. So they did that really well too. The characters were good. The characters weren't, on a whole, as good as Game of Thrones, but they were still, some of them were like phenomenal and up there. Like Jakar was definitely up there, and Londo was really strong, and Besta, and they had some really strong characters, and the other characters were really just solid good characters. And there was no real weakness in the show. I don't think, character wise. Oh, except for Byron. Ugh. Um, but yeah, so that was really good. Um, let's kick into the story a bit. The best thing about J. Michael Straczynski was that he would tell you how it ended, and you're always, and it was like, thanks for the spoilers, but it was not about that. It was about how he got you there, and how he got you there was fantastic every time. It was like, oh my god, that's really good, and they had like signs and portents all the way through it. And you're like, wow, I wonder how they're gonna make this happen. Sheridan's gonna die, Zaha Doom. What are they gonna do with that? That's crazy. Did they do their plot armor? They kept a fair bit of it, but not all of it. They threw in some curveballs here and there. Not as much as Game of Thrones. But on a whole, it really was fulfilling. Um, they had they really nailed down every story they told you. They started, they ended. Like they gave you a finish to the conclusion to the Shadow War. They gave you conclusion to the Earth War. They gave you answers to why the Minbari left and didn't finish off the humans when they probably should have. And things like this. And Babylon 4. Oh my god, Babylon 4 was another fantastic plot that, they gave you closure for. And I just felt fulfilled at the end. Even though season 5 itself wasn't fantastic. Again, the first half was pretty hard to watch. Like they did the whole psychic wars and ugh, not the best. But the second half, they gave me the ending. They gave me a good ending. They gave me the final answers that I felt like I needed to know. And even though, on a whole, I don't think it was up to the strong standards of Game of Thrones and their tight writing in the first 4 seasons, where J. Michael Straczynski's at time would kind of be a bit long-winded. But it was still decent. It was still good. But I can safely say that I have watched Babylon 5 a lot more, and I would continue to watch Babylon 5 because I get fulfilled every time. I get the answers I want. Um, yeah, it was just really well finished. Where no matter how good the first 4 seasons are of Game of Thrones, the last 2 seasons it let me down. It just didn't answer enough, and the answers I got were mediocre. No, not mediocre. They were terrible. Therefore, for fulfillment, for better, for better story arc telling and absolutely giving me, you know, the the ending I needed. Babylon 5 wins this battle. Yep, Babylon 5 for the win. So, tell me what you think. Which one do you think is better? Also like, subscribe, and I wake up skitty tomorrow and might do another review. All right, till next time. Bye.